Vegan, because it's not just about this life, it's about heavens or hell afterlife.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visite suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Нашите предавания предлагат много езици. Моля вижте suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Yuri Gagarin was the first to enter what was then an almost completely unknown domain, launching into space in the Soviet-built spacecraft Vostok 1 and then returning safely to Earth. Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space, part 1 of 2. Continue watching to find out more.
If you have the pleasure of visiting the Kabardino-Balkarian Republic in the North Caucasus, you may be greeted with Kunuguz Yaxshi Bolsun. That means hello in Karachay-Balkar, one of the Republic's official languages. Darling viewers, I'm Elizaveta. The people of the Kabardino-Balkarian Republic treasure your company and love that your beauty stems from the inside out. Welcome to part 1 of a 2-part series entitled Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. On April 12, 2021, an unforgettable aerial tribute took place in Russia to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the incredible day that cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin became the first human to leave the Earth's atmosphere. Designated Cosmonautics Day by the United Nations, this spectacular event was celebrated around the world. In Russia, a display of modern drone technology in tandem with computer-heightened artistry wowed the crowds, honoring the moment when Yuri Gagarin entered what was then an almost completely unknown domain, launching into space in the Soviet-built spacecraft Vostok 1 and then returning safely to Earth. That now famous day, April 12, 1961, had started like any other spring morning for Anihayat Takhtarova, who was out in the potato fields of the Leninsky Put collective farm in northern Kazakhstan with her granddaughter Rita Kudasheva, aged 5. Rita became excited when she saw 2 objects descend to Earth about 2 kilometers away, but her grandmother reminded her to stay focused on her work. A short while later, they both saw a strange orange creature with a large bulbous white head approach them from across the field. They both became frightened and began to run away until the orange figure shouted,
«Я такой же советский, как и вы».
Anihayat cautiously approached the Russian-speaking figure and then helped to remove the white helmet emblazoned with the red initials CCCP. How did he get here? The orange man answered,
«Я с корабля».
Anihayat and Rita were confused. As they were nowhere near the ocean, the disheveled figure pointing to the sky said,
«Нет, с космического корабля».
Yuri gratefully took a drink from Anihayat's lunch thermos while struggling to keep his legs free of the parachute that trailed behind him. He then politely asked to use the telephone together with a smile that seemed to light up the whole field. A kilometer or so away, a group of farmers stood around the large steel ball that had made a sizable hole in their potato patch. While thoughtfully leaning on their hoes and pitchforks, they, in turn, offered up theories about its appearance. Suddenly, an excited voice leaped into the air from the transistor radio of a nearby tractor.
Работают все радиостанции Советского Союза. Это говорит Москва. Товарищи, мы в космосе. Этим утром товарищ Юрий Гагарин стал первым человеком, вышедшим в космос, облетев вокруг Земли по орбите за 108 минут, прежде чем благополучно вернуться на Землю примерно в 10:55.
The steadily growing crowd of listeners stood speechless with amazement as they glanced from the scorched remains of Vostok 1 to the three conversing people in the near distance. Indeed, Yuri Gagarin was no stranger to potato fields. Just days after his momentous orbit of the globe, he made his first press conference and told the Russian public, as well as the world at large, a little about himself. All were eager to know this newly discovered handsome, smiling hero. Yuri Gagarin was born on March 9, 1934, in the Russian village of Klushina in the Smolensk region. On April 16, 1961, during a press conference, he mentioned,
В моем генеалогическом древе не было ни князей, ни знати. До революции мои родители были крестьянами-бедняками. Старшее поколение моей семьи, дедушка и бабушка, тоже были бедными крестьянами, и в нашей семье не было ни князей, ни графов.
Yuri was raised in the small farming community of Klushina. His father did carpentry and odd jobs, while his mother tended the fields. His education was sporadic and was made even more difficult by the occupation that occurred between 1943 and 1945. The schoolhouse was destroyed and the Gagarin family were forced out of their house. The six of them took up residence in a 3x3 meter or 10x10 foot garden bunker, and their lives were constantly in danger. In 1946, Yuri was finally able to attend school in nearby Gzhatsk, but the only textbook was a discarded military manual. Later, a Russian pilot took the local children under his wing, encouraging Yuri to study mathematics and science as well as inspiring within him an urge to fly. Although initially training to become a metal worker at the Saratov Industrial Technicum, Yuri always remembered his wish to fly.
Моей самой старой мечтой было стать пилотом. К моменту окончания техникума в 1955 году я одновременно окончил Саратовский аэроклуб. Затем меня приняли в Оренбургское авиационное училище, которое я окончил в 1957 году и получил звание летчика-истребителя ВВС. Я служил в одном из родов советских вооруженных сил.
We look forward to hearing more about the amazing life of Yuri Gagarin after this brief interlude. We'll be right back here on Supreme Master Television.
Vegan should have been law a long time ago.
Welcome back to Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space, part 1 of 2. In 1959, the Soviet Union began selecting its first group of cosmonauts. Yuri was one of the 154 applicants, of whom only 20 would be selected for training. The process was rigorous because the domain of space and its impact upon the human body and mind were virtually unknown. Testing focused on physical endurance and mental agility, as cosmonauts had to be able to withstand intense G-force pressures, as well as become accustomed to a weightless environment. Additionally, cosmonauts had to perform multiple highly technical tasks in a stressful environment. In training, they were shut in a sensory deprivation chamber for as long as 10 days and subjected to extreme heat and cold. Some candidates were injured during the process, and at least one trainee lost his life. Yet they were all fully aware that they were risking their lives for this honorable duty for which they had all prepared. The candidate field was slowly narrowed down, and by January 1961, 2 of the best were selected, with Yuri Gagarin being one of them,
along with German Titov.
Everyone simply really liked Yuri, from Sergei Korolev, the mission coordinator, to the other cosmonauts. Just days before liftoff, Yuri Gagarin was selected to be the pilot of Vostok 1. German Titov was assigned as backup. Secrecy was paramount. Even Yuri's parents only heard about the momentous deed after the fact, and in the same way as almost everyone else in Russia, over the radio. While cosmonaut Titov was initially disappointed not to be chosen as the first man in space, he later fully agreed that Yuri Gagarin was the right person for the job, the best suited to carry the flag of humanity
into a new era.
The original group also held their own selection process to see who they would choose, and everyone had chosen Yuri Gagarin. Just prior to the flight, Yuri wrote a letter to his wife and 2 young daughters.
В технику я верю полностью. Она подвести не должна. Но бывает ведь, что на ровном месте человек падает и ломает себе шею. Здесь тоже может что-нибудь случиться. Но сам я пока в это не верю. Ну, а если что случится, то прошу вас, и в первую очередь тебя, Валюша, не убиваться с горя. Ведь жизнь есть жизнь, и никто не гарантирован, что его завтра не задавит машина. Береги, пожалуйста, наших девочек, люби их, как люблю я. Вырасти из них, пожалуйста, не белоручек, не маменькиных дочек, а настоящих людей, которым ухабы жизни были бы не страшны.
Finally, the historic day arrived. On the morning of the 12th of April 1961, Yuri Gagarin was woken early, although he had not slept from the excitement. All preparations were on track. When Yuri finally made it into the rocket, there was a delay while some final adjustments were made, and finally, as the rockets were ignited and Vostok 1 left the launch pad, Yuri exclaimed the immortal line, "Поехали! Let's go," in Russian. He left the earth thundering toward the sky. It's been a pleasure to have you, our noble viewers, with us today. Join us again on Sunday, September 26th for part 2 of Yuri Gagarin, the first human in space. Coming up next is
The Blue Mosque, Tomb of the Exalted,
right after noteworthy news here on Supreme Master Television. May your life be a dream full of truth, beauty, and virtue, blessed by the grace of heaven.
Vegan. Exchange that piece of meat for the safety of our world.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/MOS.